this could work out great or it could fall flat on its face. I guess, oh, the problem is I can't, maybe I can. If I go over here with this, you guys still see, do you guys see? You guys can still see this. We'll do this over here. I'm live, I think. Lots of words, but no progress. That's what Berlin doesn't want to see, huh? I'm live. Streaming. I don't know Universa. Is that a metaverse project? Is that a metaverse project? Someone tell me it's a metaverse. Talking in the Telegram, but streaming on X and YouTube. So this is an experiment. This might just, again, this could be horrible. This might be just fraught with peril. I'll sit here and talk, but I accidentally hit the streaming button when I meant to hit the record button because I'm doing another video to put out to. It's actually more for like drumming up investors in business and gaming studios, kind of letting everyone know what we do. And honestly, what Yor just showed everybody in the chat probably is blowing everyone's mind. The idea we can take a game and wrap it up in Telegram. If you haven't figured that out yet, what that means is if for the viral spread of games, small games, big games, doesn't matter. If I'm playing it and I want to play with, say, Yort, I send him the game in Telegram, and he and I are playing together in Telegram immediately. There's no download, there's no stall, there's no hey, here's the game I want to play. Go download it on Steam. Yeah, I'm sorry, it cost you $40. Go ahead and download it and call me back in 3 hours after you got installed. Oh, what do you mean? You don't have the right video card? Forget it, I guess we can't play. Well, that goes away because I'm just sending your link inside of Telegram. I mean, that's going to be massive for the spread of games. And then me running my mouth, I don't know if that's massive or anything, but I'll do it anyways. It doesn't seem like anyone's caught on that I'm here and broadcasting. And I know there'll be a delay. Like I know that what I say will hit you guys 5 seconds after I say it. But it's unscripted, unannounced. It's not like I pump this up because, again, if it falls flat on its face, we'll just delete it from both YouTube and Twitter, and I'll go about my day. It's probably, well, I guess it's close to 10 o'clock at night for most people in Central Europe. I am on East Coast time, so it's only 3:45 in the afternoon. Yeah, so as Mika's saying, transparency is important. There are good times coming for sure. Now, transparency in the business sense, like we can't just lift our skirt and show everything to everybody right away. I mean, we've got competitors out there who will take advantage of. They probably already have kind of been trolling our accounts and finding out the way that we're doing things, and if it differs from their way, and they figure out, like they probably ought to, that we're doing it the right way, and they may not be doing it quite as well, they're going to steal from us. And we don't. So for those reasons and others, we don't tell everything to everybody. But boy, there's some really big things coming out. So I'm getting ready to go up to Boston here in a couple of days for the Blockchain Boston event. It's a smaller event, but still kind of important. They're doing a whole big panel on DePIN, and they asked me to speak at the panel. And as you can see, if someone asks me to speak, I say okay. So that'll be a good event. But then I come back for a single day and then fly out to Singapore. And I'll be out there in Token 2049 for both Token 2049 and also for Breakpoint, which is going to be, both of them are going to be big events. I just saw the Peak booth today. It looks awesome. We're going to have our node. They've confirmed we can run our node in the Peak booth. So when people come by, and if we're there, we should be able to allow you to play a game through your phone that we're streaming through our node. It's an Unreal project, just broadcasting like we expect that all the streaming will happen in. And then we're doing that same thing again at Breakpoint in the Star Atlas event, the Impact event for that day. So 2 big events coming up for us in the next 2 weeks. Very excited. It's a lot of travel for me. Andy's going to be going with me to Singapore. Unfortunately, York can't make it this time, but we'll be well represented just between Andy and myself. So the question is, do we make less promises? That's a fair question to ask, I guess. Progress is evident, but do we feel we should make less promises? That's a good question. I wonder what Berlin's going to say. Can't say no progress though, Berlin. I mean, if you just saw the video, we now have our test game running in a Telegram window and broadcasting across off of a node. So to say no progress, I mean that would be unfair in the extreme. So nobody's really caught on that I'm live. I may just go ahead and end this now and see if anyone's. No one's asking. No one is tuning in. I guess I probably could open up a Telegram or a different window and take a look at our Twitter and see if anybody's tuning in, couldn't I? Let me just do that real quick and see if anybody's. Let's see if it's live. Let's go to the Yum page. Yum is live on Restream. Yep, I am live on Restream. And it's got 11 viewers. So there's 11 people viewing. All right, so if you're viewing, but you haven't joined our Telegram group yet, maybe you're only in our Discord, mistake. Also join our Telegram because I've got the Telegram up right now as I'm talking to you. So join our Telegram, ask me a question inside the Telegram group, and I'll try to answer it on this quick little shoot from the hip, informal live event. Who is that who's listening? Oh, Malco's listening. Thanks, Malco. Any questions I should take up spur of the moment? What other things can I go on about? We didn't really get to do a end of the week post last week, which is probably again it's just only because we're super crazy busy. But some of the things we accomplished last week, again, that's got us right to the where's the live stream? On X and on YouTube. There you go. Actually, the best way for me to do that is to look at the easiest way for me to go back, and actually the way that I craft the weekly reviews is a lot of times I'll go to my calendar because that gives me a good summary of all the stuff that I went through last week, and last week was packed, and next week's is just ridiculous with all the stuff going on, all the side events at the conference and everything. So let's see, what were some of the big hitters from last week? Oh, I can't talk about that one. That was a good one. I can't talk about that one either. A lot of the time that I spent last week was with our tech team getting ready for the conference, right? Because the goal for us at this conference has been for a little while to get a node running on my laptop, which is now working. And actually, I guess I could pull that off and show. This is just a prototype, not the actual node, but it's going to be about that big. That's it. It's just a hard drive, an external hard drive, but it's loaded up with a modified version of Linux, Special OS. It's secured. And we did get the question last week. It's probably worth going over with the community. Why is it a separate hard drive as opposed to software, right? Because a lot of nodes that are out there, people are mining, they're using software only. We think that's a massive mistake, especially for our kind of DePIN, for a gaming DePIN. There are two, all right, Malcolm, I see your question, and I'm gonna. All right, fair question. Let me finish the story I'm telling now, and don't let me forget to go back to that. If I do forget, just kind of yell at me with capital letters in the Telegram. So the reason why we have an external hard drive is twofold, right? First, it's more secure, right? If you were to install software, that would mean for most people they'd be installing it on Windows, and so there's also the speed issue. Let me go over both of those. Security is super important. We don't want people to feel like we're invading their gaming rig. So to have the node be just a software install on someone's gaming rig, first we're taking up their hard drive space, and secondly we're potentially exposing their computer to malicious actors. By having it as an external hard drive also in the Linux operating system and not installing any software of ours on your computer, we feel it's going to be a much safer play for ourselves, right? It keeps us more secure, and for the game rig owner, right? It just keeps them more secure. So we don't want to invade anybody's computer with software. So that's part of it. And the other part of it is Windows, if most people know this already, it's fairly bloated. And one of the big issues that Stadia ran across and other cloud gaming systems is the lag, right? If you can't stream your game fast out of your node and to the end user, you're going to get lag, and it's going to be bad. So by running a Linux operating system, a lot cleaner, nowhere near as bloated, and we can stream again each node depending on the CPU, the GPU you have, can stream from 2 to 8 games at once, right? And this is again important that it's not just a one-to-one connection. Anyways, that's the reason for the external hard drive. I'm happy to go into that more. Let me take up Malcolm's question. Malco. Malco's asking about why isn't there a sex at the moment, and what time frame do we expect there's going to be one? Well, a couple of reasons. Candidly, we don't have a lot of action on our token right now. We didn't, but also candidly, we didn't try to put a lot of action on the token. I'm gonna pause for one moment because my door is open and my kids just got home. So give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. First day of school and all. So I'm sure they're gonna have lots of stories for me. So why no sex at the moment? We don't. Now we got approved to go on at least two. They weren't high. They were mid level. They weren't the big ones. But we felt like going on there too early puts us at risk for people just dumping, and we don't want that. Yeah. Now we agree that we want to have people buying, and we need to make that easier for people to do. And that's when we feel like the market has warmed up to the point that okay, we know people are going to be buying in, and once we raise our profile a bit more too with as the going to these conferences and showing off the technology that you just showed off, raising our profile will help us push into that comfortable range to say, okay, now we're on a sex. Now we've got the kind of volume and activity that we want. We feel more safe to be on one of those, and we'll have the liquidity to support it. So I don't know if anyone wants to add to that. Probably if York was here, he'd have a whole lot more to say on it, or Andy too. But Malcolm, let me know if that helps you, if that answers the question for you, if you want more information on it. Oh, when the timetable, man, I think market's going to have a lot to do with that. I would love to see us there before the end of the year, but that also means I'd love to see the market, really pumping by the end of the year, which myself, I feel like that's going to happen. I feel like we're going to look at October and then our eyes will be watering October into November. Um, and if that's the case, that's going to work. All right. You're welcome, Malgo. I appreciate the question. Anybody else have a question? You're going to add to what I said, I think, probably. I can see him furiously typing. And, stop talking. Actually, I guess he would send me a private message if he wanted me to stop talking. Let's see. What else can I go over from last week? Let me see. Yeah, there's a lot of messages over there inside. How will Yom get revenue, and why would people should or would people buy the token? Oh, Frank. Good question, Frank. Does that do anything? It doesn't really, does it? Hold on, Frank. I'm going to answer that question. There we go. So Yom gets revenue two ways, right? First is selling the nodes out into the environment. Now, we need nodes in the environment, so we're trying to keep the price in a reasonable amount so that we can get as many nodes out there. And obviously, we make a little bit of profit on each of those nodes that gets sold. So that's the first way. And then the second way we get revenue is by selling network time on the to game developers who want to get on the network. And we have again, that is also priced reasonable. What we're trying to do is not just only pull in AAA games, but also have a place for independent game studios and even hobbyists. We say this in our pitch, you guys don't get to hear, but we do expect that with the Unreal tools being as easy as they are to use now, and with AI helping people out, we expect that a lot of independent studios and even hobbyists, these people who just build Unreal games on the weekend just for fun, we want to have our network affordable for those folks to also put their content out, and think of it sort of like a YouTube of games, right? Where people can just put their content, their Unreal games out, and it won't cost them too much to get seen. And then over time, we can bring the price down low enough that advertising will cover the cost. And again, like for YouTube, people get their games up for free, and we just make the money on the advertising revenue. So for now, those are the two ways: selling the nodes and then selling the network time. Now, why should people buy the token? It's a good question. But again, our token is deflationary. What we do, and I'm legally, I'm probably not supposed to pump. I'm not supposed to tell you to buy the token. I'm not saying buy the token. You do your own research and then you'll make your own decision. But for us, when we talk about our token, it's deflationary. There's only so many that we have. And as we reward node operators for operating their node, we also burn a small amount of YAM. So what we expect over time is we're going to have less YAM in circulation while we have more demand because there's more games being added to the network. So over time, that's going to raise the value of every YAM that's still circulating because it's going to be a market to purchase it so they can get the time on the network. So that's the way our token is structured. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you it's going to go up in price. I can tell you my own, like I can tell you what I'm doing, right? I'm buying tokens. I like the token, but that's me, and I should be, right? But I'm not telling you to do it. You make your own decisions. Not financial advice, as they say. I think I'm covered legally and saying all that stuff. Frank, did I answer your question? Did that help you out? And then let me look at what you're writing here. Multiple reasons. DEX only ensure that we get more wallet on-chain. SEX is overrated. That's true. And it's true that for the Solana ecosystem, the DEX are much more active than the SEX, right? Than the central exchanges. That's kind of nice. Yep, we don't want to have the arbitrage also. It's a good point too. And Frank, thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Here's a question that I'm going to ask, and you should. I'm going to ask and then answer because that's kind of it's my show. I get to say what I want to say. How do you help the community? I think again, one step that we're in right now is we've got to get lots more eyeballs on this project. I think people are sleeping on this one, right? We think that what we're doing, and again, looking at the other projects that are kind of in the same arena, I think we got them outclassed in many ways. I think that our technology is better, and I think our business strategy is better. So getting more people to see our project, I think, is a way that we would ask for your help. Get people to see our YouTube channel. Get people to see our, this talk. Have them join our Telegram. Have them join Discord. Talk about YAM in the places that you talk about projects. And then it's crazy. Like I'm getting a whole bunch of, and this is not to be unexpected, a lot of, hey, I've got a YouTube channel. You want me to promote your project? And I, they're in the beginning, I was like, yes, please promote my project. And they're like, okay, great. Just send us $600 worth of tokens. I'm like, wait. I thought you just want, like, if I were to actually spend on every channel that tried to get us to buy space on their channel or buy advertising, which is really just shilling, we'd be broke. So I don't do that. So if you do know of any kind of channels that do the kind of promotion for real, or they want to really delve into technology, I'll get on every show and on any show and do an AMA. But as far as paying for that kind of thing, I don't have much of an appetite for it because you can't tell. I mean, we do have a budget for it, but I'm less. It leaves a taste in my mouth that I don't really so much love because I feel like those are the channels that take advantage of people by shilling projects and not really doing any research on it. What are YAM's greatest competitors and how does YAM stand out in this space? That's a good question too, Malcolm. So our greatest competitors, there are two projects that have come across, two or three, I guess, that come across our radar that are saying they're gaming DePINs. And I don't really want to throw shade on them because, again, I think what we're really competing with is the Web 2 gaming space, or traditional gaming space, and the traditional cloud gaming space. But I would say what I know about their architecture is that they're making what I would say is two mistakes. First is they're not really streaming the video. They're using DePIN to do the orchestrator, which is to say, if the player is here, the closest central server, the closest Amazon server is that one. So the orchestrator, which is on a DePIN, is sending the gaming streaming to an actual central server. So they're going to end up having lag issues because some people are going to ping from a place that's too far away from any Amazon server to be playable. So I think that's one mistake that I've seen some of these competitors make. And then the other mistake I think they're making is a lot of them are trying to make the Steam of DePINs, right? We're going to have a platform that you have to go to in order to get to all the games, which is, to my mind, extremely limiting. What we're doing with our DePIN is we're saying, just for the game developers, tell us which URL you want to broadcast from, what website, and you broadcast from there. Now, it could be your own gaming page, your own company website. There'll probably be an aggregator that will pop up that'll just, they'll find on our network where all the streams are and then put them all into one beautiful website. But building your own platform, I think, still kind of creates a funnel. It still creates centralization, which is, again, what this whole space is supposed to be breaking apart from. So I think that's probably a mistake that the other ones are making, and how we stand out that's different. No, you're not spoiling the stream. You're helping. So I think those are two things, Malcolm, that I think helps us stand out. I think also, let's see if I was, third reason that we stand out from these others. we can actually still work with those platforms. So talk about Steam. Like, I'm not necessarily opposed to Steam. I have a Steam account and I love it. But when a player goes to a Web 2 or Web 3 person, when you go to Steam, with our system, Steam can actually, and we'll get around to getting a partnership with them at some point. It'll say, download the game with this button, but play it on the YOM DePIN with this button. So we can still work through Steam as opposed to trying to combat or replace Steam by having our own platform. There are many other things. If you've read any of the Medium articles, you'll see our whole team has a lot of theses. Theses? What's the plural for theses? Theses? Anyways, we have a lot of thoughts about the different ways that the technology can be used by going through a URL as opposed to going through a platform or having our own, centralized point. Malco, did that answer your question? I'll look at your answers and see if I've missed anything. Oh wait, I'm probably killing. No, you're not. Yeah, there's another point too about the people who are operating nodes. By holding on to the YOM that they've accumulated over time, that's a sink as well, right? It's still taking more YOM out of circulation. So the more nodes that are operating, there's more YOM that's being held up, and not circulating, which again decreases the amount that's available for game developers to purchase, which again adds to that deflationary effect. So it actually grows not just from the burning, though that helps, but the burning and the expansion of the node network also further decreases the YOM that's circulating for purchase. So two good reasons why the YOM price should be affected. JJ says, although the arbitrage between exchanges and DEX usually lead to native market makers, trading bots, and more volume for free. It's a good point. It's a good point. Again, I think that we have caution because once you get on a central exchange, you don't really want to ever pull off. And until we've got the basis for it, the less risk on the table for it, I think we'll probably still continue to hold off. And honestly, gotta see this market move. I mean, would someone please get out and give Bitcoin a push, because it's kind of pissing me off. I had told a lot of friends that, because one of the channels that I listen to does generally a pretty good job at calling out the trends, was saying for sure by the end of August we'd be knocking on the 72,000 mark, and he was wrong. So therefore I was wrong. Let's see, but correct. Key is deep liquidity for a few good sex and dexes instead of having a ton of them. Yep. Couldn't agree more, JJ. Man, I don't have any water with me. I'm doing this on the fly. You guys are seeing the blue screen behind me because I was just recording that other video. But I think everyone knows that generally behind me is this big. I don't know if I'm going to pull this off. Like the blue screen, honestly, I think it makes me look makes me look too corporate or something. This is what it's supposed to look like behind me. All right, so that's what my background's supposed to be. All right, what have I missed? Let's see. But 2 decks and 2 sets is all we need. I guess overall liquidity is quite low right now. That is correct, JJ. I see Malco and Norbit are both typing like mad. Hopefully they're happy mad typing. You'll see that on the side, my chickens, because I have chickens, my Hulk, my DGen Ape. If you guys are familiar with the DGen Ape Academy on Solana, I'm a proud owner, have been from day 2. What do you think is going to kickstart for people to get to know YOM? What main events? And will marketing conditions relevant or not? I think marketing conditions will be relevant, yes. But I think, I'll get to Raymond's question in a second. But I think when we are able to get one of the really big name projects, and again, obviously we're showing up at the Star Atlas event, so we're having conversations with them, but it's not a partnership yet. They're rightly cautious or conservative about who they partner with, but they're excited about what we present to them. But when we get a big project like that that's able to go live and stay live, that's probably going to change everything. And again, I've got we have more partnership announcements in that vein. We've already done Donation. That's a really contender for that first game spot. I mean, we would love to be able to put them out there. What we have to do with these projects, a good gaming project, is to make sure that the controls work for mobile. And there is, we discovered that if the plugins that they're using in Unreal don't compile in Linux, they've got to make those changes. And for some projects, that's been like we don't have time to do the Linux compiling of all these plugins that we're using. Most times, that's a very easy process to do to do the Linux version. But if you're using 200 plugins, I can see where it could take some time. And then just the idea of having, again, I think most of you guys know my experience is 24 years of making games. We said, and I was a producer, right? So I was the schedule guy. Well, for much of it, I started off as an artist, but then went into production. But you schedule your time like to completion, and if someone comes to you and says, "Okay, by the way, we need a version that also supports thumb controls on mobile, so that we can put it up on the Yum network," I'm gonna look at my schedule and go, "Give me another 6 weeks then." Right, so it's not an easy thing to just drop this concept into the laps of game developers when they've already got a milestone schedule on their head. So that's kind of a little bit of what we come up against also. But what happens is the person who's running the project has to weigh between the time they're going to add to the project and the opportunity to get the game out on on web browsers to anybody who's got a computer at all. So we feel like we're going to win that battle pretty easily, right? So. That's one of the things I think is going to really rocket us up. And again, that may not be so bearable dependent, right? If it's a big enough name and a big enough game or a big enough, just a single game is one version of it. The other version of it would be a publisher gets wind of what we do and says, wait a minute, I want to do a ton of games on this, and like you get a big name publisher who throws their weight behind us, which is not unrealistic to think it could happen. That's a lot of the reasons why we go to these events, including Gamescom in Germany, and I'll be going to GDC in California in I think it's February or March next year. You sign up one of these big publishers and they get behind us, and that would open the doors as well for a big run, I would imagine. Malcolm, I hope that answers your question. Raymond, how many toilets does a bathroom have? We have one male and one female in the office. I don't know why Baker thinks there's 15. That is not true unless Baker's using the sink, which please don't do that. Unless actually, if you count, I mean, because yes, we have the office in Utrecht, but my house has 1, 2, 3, 4 bathrooms. So can we count those 4 bathrooms? I'm counting them. And every once in a while, I'll just go to a different bathroom just because. I don't use the same one every time. I like to keep my wife guessing. Which bathroom is he in now? It's the one where the phone is streaming a YouTube video out of. What else did we not cover? How long have I been going for? I should look back. When did I start this? I went live. I went live, 20 minutes ago? Almost 30 minutes ago? That's craziness. All right, let's kill this right now. 30 minutes is just enough time. No one's going to watch a video that's longer than that anyways. If you guys like this, I'll leave it up, and if you like it, we'll do it again. Maybe we'll schedule it this next time. Why not? Like, why don't we announce we're going to do it? Maybe it'll make it a little bit easier on everybody. They can plan in advance. And honestly, what I really would like to do is get some people, maybe get some of the winners from some of the contests. We'll do like a live stream where we're actually talking to people who've been part of the community. Will there be a meetup in the Netherlands again anytime soon? I'm not going to be going to the Netherlands anytime soon. I got enough travel for the rest of the year to suit me. But meeting with the other guys, sure. Is this recorded? I believe it is. I think it's going to live on our YouTube channel forever and ever. And I think that Restream captures it for X as well. So I think this will be around for ever and ever, unless of course again we decide that we didn't like any of my answers and I have to take it down because of reasons. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. Again, let me know if you liked it or didn't like it. I'm gonna go duck out, say good hello to the kids since they just got back from school, and I got a video to edit, so I'm gonna be busy into the wee hours of the evening, I'm sure. Cheers, everybody.